Well, hello everyone. We are back in Moria. I am interested to see how different the stream looks with us in a standard aspect ratio in this game. Though I did a mistake and I forgot to tell it the correct window to capture. So let's fix that right now. There we go. Oh, and that looks weird too. Why is it it's like not sitting properly on the I don't know how to explain that. It's not being captured properly, I think is what I'm trying to say. Let's see. 2560 by 1440. Confirm, save changes. Yeah, there we go. That's all we needed to do. All right. Nice. See, this one is working way better in a window, in windowed mode than um, Mankind Divided was, which is a little disappointing, but it makes me kind of curious as to what that. Well, okay, actually, now that I think about it, I don't think ultra wide monitors were really that popular when Mankind Divided came out. If they even were around at all. Mankind Divided came out in what, 2015? Let us look this up. 2016. The first ultra-wide monitor was released in 2012. The first widely recognized one was 2012. Alienware, however, developed a 49-inch in 2008. However, it wasn't really getting popular until right around 2015. So, yeah, useless bit of knowledge that nobody asked for. So we have some decisions to make. So Jeez, people speeding down my street for no reason. If I seem distracted today, I mean, I kind of always seem distracted, but if I especially seem distracted today, it is because there is a ongoing fire just about a mile away from my neighborhood, and I'm just trying to keep an eye on it. They lifted the pre-evacuation notice a while ago, and they've got it reasonably contained, but you know that can always change. So I'm trying to keep an eye on it and make sure that if it does change, I know to hurry up and dip out. So we need silver. So if I seem a little distracted, that is why. I'm checking up on that every now and then. I do not have enough silver ore. So I think I know I said we'd probably spend a while at this point in the game that we're at right now, but I think we actually need to advance just a little bit farther, because we need lots of adamant um, for our base. So we've got to get to the level of Moria that has an abundance of adamant. So we'll have to do a few things to get there. Also, man, I've really got to work on the organization here. Wow. This is... Let's see. You know what? I'm always... I never use the pallets as early on as I should. These pallets are actually amazing. They store a lot of materials with taking not a whole lot of space. So let's grab... let's grab our wood. Ores can stay in the chests for now. But let's grab all of our woods and stone type things. Coal. Yeah, maybe we will put a few ore pallets down. We have a lot of wood. Granite pallet. Whoa. Y'all saw that, right? Like, I clicked on granite pallet. I swear I clicked on granite pallet. We're probably gonna need... We're gonna... Actually, yeah, we will need a lot of granite as well. So, we could actually stay in this area for a little while. Now that I think about it. Because we do need to get a lot of granite. Granite is going to be the primary material we use for the flooring. I'm missing... Oh, wait, that was a stone thing. Granite. This is why you should set up pallets early on. Because sorting through your inventory is a little bit of a pain. Especially when you're looking for multiple things at the same time. It's really easy to overlook what you're looking for. So, deposit the granite, deposit the adamant. Do we have stone to deposit? No. Coal to deposit? No. Now let's place... We'll probably need a couple wood pallets. Ooh, not close enough to a hearth. Yeah, we're gonna need a couple wood pallets. Yeah, man. I don't know for sure, but I think this game was developed for console. It might not have been. I know it released on the Epic Game Store before it released on Steam. But that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It just means on the PC version, it was on the Epic Game Store before Steam. I can't remember if console before PC or not on it. But anyway, all of that to say, I think that may be why the menu acts a little weird sometimes, especially in the build menu when you like click on things and it jumps. Because like if I hover my mouse right here and then use the movement keys, it moves my selection, which makes me think that the selection was initially you would use the movement key, which like for a controller, because you have limited keys, you'd bring up the menu and the joystick that you would move with would be what would move around your selections. That's, that's just why I think that. It is night. So let's make a meal and sleep. And then we'll go down into the mines and do a little bit of granite mining. If I am silent for a little bit at a time, it is because I'm actually eating my dinner while streaming. So I gotta take breaks every now and then from talking to eat my food before it gets cold, No offense to y'all, but I'm hungry. So I have to admit, playing this game one-handed while I'm eating is actually difficult, quite difficult. I wonder if one-handed gaming is actually easier on controllers. I mean, it's not like I've never played a game using a controller before. I have. But, I mean, really, I've kind of been on computer for pretty much ever. And any time that I've played on console, I've like been specifically playing on console with like other people and don't really eat during that. I guess, I mean, maybe there's a couple times, but it would be like, waiting for the game to load. You'd take a bite of pizza or something like that, Modern games do not have anywhere near as many loading screens, and typically they don't take anywhere near as long to load either. Just advances in technology, especially on a PC that has way overkill specs for the game that you're playing. Like, my computer for this game, it should be overspec'd for this game, but there's something about this this game's lighting that really eats up performance.
And once our work is
They've
finally
optimized
done,
it pretty good
hail my hand
in
by the
recent
heart.
updates. It's actually one of the things that the developers of this game spent quite a bit of time working on was optimizing the lighting system because they knew that that was an issue. They did it fairly successfully. It's still like it's. I would say it's optimized now. It's just not. Oh, what am I trying to say? It's just performance heavy still. And you can have a well-optimized game, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that well-optimized game is going to run on a potato. It just means that the game isn't wasting performance, generally speaking. I mean, I guess kind of depends on who you ask. A lot of people's understanding of optimization will be that it means the game can run on lower spec hardware without a problem. My understanding, I mean, I haven't gone to college for game development or anything like that, but my understanding of optimization is it's just making it so that your game is taking full advantage of what is available to it without bogging down the hardware that's available to it, i.e. wasting performance with memory leaks and stuff like that. Something that Minecraft, especially on Java still, struggles with today. Granted, in the case of Minecraft, that's a bit more of a Java gimmick, I think. It's kind of always been a thing with Java, is that memory leaks. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's why they don't really use Java as much on web development, because browsers would notoriously leak RAM back in the day, and admittedly some of them still do. So I think one of the ways that they probably kind of corrected that was by covering up the issue by removing some things like Java that themselves also leaked a bunch of RAM. That's just conjecture on my end, though. I could be way off base on that. I think that's kind of a Java thing. I've never really used Java for development, so the ore frenzy status, what that does, you get that when you sing while mining ore. And what that does is it makes it so that you don't use stamina for mining. So like if you look over here, this would normally be eating up our stamina every time we hit the wall. But because we have Ore Frenzy, we're not using any stamina at all for this. So yeah, that's the point of singing while mining. It has benefit outside of just sounding cool and being immersive and all of that. And then I think if we stop, yeah, if you stop mining, the frenzy starts dropping again. And if you pick up mining again, it'll pause the timer. We also need silver, but do we want to go mining for silver right now? We'll probably have to, because I think most of the granite we're going to have to get from lower. Oh, there's more adamant? Gonna have to come back for that at some point. Too bad we can't find ironwood around here anywhere. I think we could, if we discovered there's a gem that lets you enchant axes with a chance of any wood dropping ironwood. The nifty thing with that is you could go and, break these barrels or these beams or whatever, and it would have a chance of dropping ironwood along with the regular wood, which, that's just useful.
We got orcs!
Not for long.
That's all you got?
Should we take these two as well? I think so.
Perfect!
I have noticed something in this game too. The audio is a little glitchy. There'll be like some things that should be making sounds that isn't making any sound at all. I'll have to try to remember to point it out at some point when it does it. But yeah, just a weird thing I've noticed with it. It's probably to do with either it could be my computer's audio driver being overwhelmed with too many audio sources. There you go. There was a shout there when he saw us, but we didn't hear what he said. It could also be more likely the game engine being overwhelmed by too many sources of audio happening at the same time, so some of them just get canceled because the game engine itself can only support X amount of sounds simultaneously. There's like a certain number of slots for audio tracks essentially, and if all of those slots are filled, then something has to not make noise because there's no slot for it. If that makes any amount of sense whatsoever. Now, for this, I'm gonna want to build out here just a little bit. Come on. Snap. You did it for a second there. Come on. You know you wanna. Maybe if we change orientation. Come on. No, I want you to go literally just there we go. Alright. Sometimes placing these things is a pain. Like right now. What the heck? Just go where I want you to go. Go into the wall. Oh, come on. I guess that's as in the wall as we're going to get that one. That's fine. How far... So we want to build out about that far right there. Let's just see how far we can bring this. Can we get... Yeah, let's do that, because that gives us just a little bit more. Okay, so that'll be yellow. That'll be yellow. Okay, so right there. There's a method to my madness here. What we're building is gonna have some whoops. It's gonna have some whatchamacallit, decoration, I guess, greebling, whatever you want to call it, around the border here. So we, yeah, we already knew that. We don't want to build it out too far this way because we won't be able to place our little decoration stuff. So that is probably as far as we're going to be able to go. Although, now that I think about it, that would probably give us a little bit more. Yeah, it would. Okay. Oh, and actually, now that I think about it too, yeah, this will work. This will be good. Probably want to do it this way. It's kind of just a matter of jigsaw puzzling a little bit to get things to line up where you want them to. So take this for example. Oops. This is difficult to do. But I want it over here, not over there. Come on. Really? Really? You don't want to attach before you change orientation? Let's go to the other side. This is where things get really tricky. Although it doesn't, we don't actually need this to be perfectly flush right there because we're going to build out a little bit on that side too. So we're actually fine. I feel like... do I want to build... I think I want to build out just a little bit more over... oh, but... let's build a hearth. We'll build a stone hearth for right now. That should do. Alright. Oh, yeah, we made food. I should go get that before it spoils. It's late afternoon. I should have slept, and I missed it. It takes a second to figure out spacing sometimes. The decoration that we're going to do is these decorative barriers. We're going to place them around like this. So it'll give us kind of a nice little border around our floor. It'll just make it look a little nicer. And then on top of that, we are going to put this railing. So it'll look kind of nice, but we've got to be careful because, you know, we're right here. It's green for us to build. We can easily build. Whoa. Can easily build what we want right there. Once you get over here, it's yellow. So we wouldn't be able to go much farther out in some of these areas because it would end up not letting us place these things where we want them to, where we want to place them. I mean, so that's why I'm putting so much effort into this part of the build. I kind of wish I could build circles in this. I mean, you can kind of do circle-ish things. I can show you an example here. So you could do I think you see what I'm doing here. So that is pretty much as circle-ish as you can get. So, which is fine. Like, I don't really mind the whole
Quiet. I see prey ahead.
90-degree angle building on everything. I don't really mind it. It's just occasionally you get an idea where it's like, dang, this would look really good if it was a circle. Like if I had a circular platform that branched out from here that went around this pillar, that would look so nice. But we can still do a square platform, which is still going to look reasonably nice. Oh, look at how close that lines up on that corner. That's pretty good. Oh no! Build another hearth. Eventually, we won't have to have anywhere near this many hearths. For this base, we will still have to have a few. One even massive hearth is not going to cover the entirety of this build area. That doesn't quite line up there. That's a little annoying. It would if this extra little bit wasn't there. Okay. This is most likely a LOD texture. You can kind of tell that it's a lower quality than the textures that you can get like right up on. So their LODs are typically just lower resolution textures and meshes. Meshes being the basically frame of what you're seeing, and then textures being the actual like visual part of what you're seeing. LODs are lower quality textures and meshes that exist for your viewing pleasure from a distance. So you can see this whole structure from all the way over there where that to the mines marker is, without your computer or console having to render high quality, high resolution textures and meshes for everything in between here and there. It's just a way to, in the sense of letting it run on a lower tier system optimization. Usually in your video settings, you can adjust that. This one would probably be built into your just general graphic quality option there. If you set the graphics to low, then, you know, the distance at which LOD textures and meshes begin loading will be much shorter than your higher quality. Your higher quality will load your really good textures for a lot farther, whereas your low quality will load your higher quality textures for a lot shorter distance wise. Things that nobody asked about. And there we go. That is, I think, our entire floor platform, actually. There. I think that will be our entire floor platform built out. Unless we can get this out just a little bit farther without affecting things. I think we can, actually. Yeah, we definitely can. Okay. I like that. Yeah, I like that better. Just a little bit farther out. And I think on this side, we'll go just a tad bit Yeah. And then I think... Yeah, that looks right. Cool. Alright. Now, for the next part. The actual floor. This is just, it's not really necessarily tedious, I wouldn't say. It's just not, not the easiest thing to do. Why is it not? Come on. Why are you not placing like you should? Whatever recent update they did has changed how blocks place, and I'm not exactly happy about it. It's making building my base a lot more difficult than it used to be. What the heck? Really, it's just a matter right now of finding a place that it will let me put down the floor where I want to. That's about where I want it, but I would like to start it with full structural integrity if I can. Hey! There we go. Okay. Took some finagling. I also don't really like how that's green right there, but sure, I guess. Oh, our armor stand is gonna have to go. Yeah, you see how it's not, like, doing what I want it to? That's really kind of frustrating a little bit, if I'm being honest. Ah, man, and that doesn't line up properly. That's fine. See, the difficult part with the floor is usually getting it to be level the whole way across. Just about every time I build a floor in this game, some of the pieces that I place are at different, like, vertical heights than the rest, so these seams height-wise don't line up perfectly. But I will say that positive for whatever they changed with placing blocks in this latest update, they do seem to be snapping to each other a lot better, even if they're not snapping to other things as well as I would like. They also seem to go a much farther distance than they used to, structural integrity wise. Oh no, we're already out of granite. You see what I mean? Just doing this, well, okay, to be fair, we actually placed quite a bit of flooring. Yeah. So, as you can see, though, that is going to take so much granite to lay all those floors down. It's going to take a lot. But we can worry about getting more granite tomorrow in game. The downside to this poison is there's no way to, at least seemingly, there's no way to get rid of the poison. Whereas before, I think you could destroy the poison mushrooms, if I'm remembering correctly, and it would dissipate I mean, they obviously wouldn't be able to poison you if they're no longer there.
Will greet me there. The gates will part like open arms, entrusting me with jewels rare. Below the mountains 3 and tall lie pillared halls that stand apart. I've ne'er beheld my cause a doom, but know the road I'll take by heart. Ha! Ha ha! Now dig!
Yeah, we still have to take care of the orc town for this level of the mine. I forgot about that. We've got a few things to do at this level before we can really progress. Though I think technically for this one we don't have to take care of the orc town to progress. It's just going to make our life mining down here a lot easier. The quarry, oh no. The quarry master pickaxe would certainly make this go a lot faster, but I also like being able to see what I'm actually doing. We could probably just ride this out. Basically, if we just hang out right here, I think we can just not deal with these guys.
Eyes up! Monsters in the air!
Admittedly, these guys would probably be reasonably easy to fight at this stage, but with not really having a good open spot to fight them right now, that would be very annoying. Right. And now, we just have to deal with these guys.
We got orcs!
Come on, come get me. Really gonna stay right there? What the heck? Oh, just get over here and die. You know what? Where are you at? I missed! Wow. That just makes me feel kind of pathetic, not gonna lie. Dude wasn't even moving and I missed. But then I get him when he's moving? What the heck? What kind of aim is that? I can only hit targets if they're moving. If they're stationary, I don't know how to hit them. I don't know what to tell you. You know, one of the things that I find fascinating is how things are known and like recognized across different cultures across the world. Like take anime, for example. Like anime is kind of a thing just about anywhere that has streaming services, I feel like, isn't it? Like it's so popular that, I mean, just about every major like first world kind of country has access to Japanese anime, and some cases have their own version of anime. Like look at South Korea and China, and I think Taiwan, I want to say, have kind of their own sort of anime, and it's kind of like basically their own subgenre within anime, essentially. And then you also look at something like Lord of the Rings. It's very popular in a lot of areas. I'd actually be curious to know if it's popular in like Japan, for example. But at the very least, we know, it's popular in England. That's, where it comes from. And then it's popular in the U.S. I don't know. See, I don't have super intense exposure to lots of different cultures, but I mean, you would think that Canada would also know about Lord of the Rings, and that it would be very popular over there because Canada is Canada. It's kind of it's a weird, like, I don't know how I'm trying to say this, but Canada, it's similar to the U.S. in a lot of ways, similar to the UK in a lot of ways. It's similar to France in a lot of ways. Like Canada is just
Quiet. I see prey ahead.
An interesting country in the sense of it's kind of in between of different cultures. It's also, I don't know why, but it's kind of weird to think of different English-speaking countries and think of them as, oh, it broke. To think of different English-speaking countries and think of them as different cultures, which they are. I mean, the UK's culture is very different from the US in a lot of ways. There are some similarities. I mean, really, at its roots, the U.S. kind of derives from the UK. I mean, we were originally colonies of the United Kingdom back in the day, so obviously you're going to have some similarities. But the U.S. is also kind of just a weird country in of itself because we have so many cultures that kind of mix into the U.S., which in some cases I think is good, and in some cases I think is bad. I think generally speaking, cultures are a good thing. Having a variety of cultures and stuff is good. And the U.S. is a very big country, so I mean, we have the space for different cultures to kind of branch out and do their own thing. But the downside to that is we don't have a... Not that we don't have a cultural identity, but we don't have as strict and unified of a cultural identity as a place like Japan, for example, that has always had their own cultural identity, and they've guarded that very strictly for hundreds of years, thousands of years. But where I was going with that was it's interesting to have all of these different cultures, but also have so many things that those cultures share, such as, you know, anime or Lord of the Rings or music. Music is a really good example too. I mean, all of the popular artists are pretty much popular everywhere, which is kind of interesting, honestly speaking. There's, I mean, some pop music leaves me like, why is this even popular? But that's the thing with culture that's so fascinating, is how that is shared across very great distances between the different countries. I mean, there's a lot of space between us and the UK. There's a lot of space between us and Japan. Granted, we've been very close with Japan. So, I mean, close as in like culturally close, friendship-wise, alliance-wise. So it kind of makes sense that there's a major cultural exchange between Japan and the U.S. specifically, but as well as other countries. I mean, Japan really, after World War II, they kind of took a whole different direction with their... How would you put that? Their culture, I mean, yeah, their culture changed, but it also, in many ways, stayed the same. I am already out of granite. Wow. In many ways, it stayed the same. In a few ways, it changed and everything, kind of out of necessity because they were forced to. Not so much. I know some people are going to be like, oh, well, that's because of the U.S. and bombing Japan, all of that, World War II. But yes, that is part of it, but also part of it is the US and the other allied countries kind of telling Japan, like, hey guys, like, you really need to understand that the modern age is upon us, and you kind of have to get on program with everybody else and start, you know, exchanging cultures and oh, uh,
Troll!
oh man,
See us?
my words are just so terrible. Um, but yeah, kind of
This one day.
showed them how they need to be more open. You know, because Japan was historically a very xenophobic nation. They kind of still are, and for good reason. I mean, you look at what happened when what was it, the English and the Spanish, I believe, when they tried to get involved with Japan in the past, they really kind of were jerks about it. They didn't really care about the um, they didn't really care about the culture of Japan. They cared about strategic location and exploiting the people, and it was a very I believe it was a very rich country at the time too, so they were like trying to exploit all of that. So, um, with that, sorry, my laptop is about to die, so I need to plug it in. Technically, I really don't need the laptop on right now, but I do like being able to see what you guys are seeing to kind of somewhat be able to determine if the thing looks good and everything. But anyway, so we had to kind of convince Japan that like that worked in the past, for them to kind of stay out of things, and shun other cultures and everything like that. But in this modern age now, it's not viable. They need allies. They need support. They the way the economy was going and like the world economy was going and everything, they needed to trade more prominently with other nations, and there's just there's a lot that was going on. And, I'm just at this point babbling about random things that probably nobody even really cares about. But hey, it's you know, it's fun to just babble sometimes, I guess. I've probably had a point that I was trying to get to before that whole thing
The
derailed
floor
there into
will
something
rise
else.
to
But,
meet
you know,
my
whatever.
boots and draw my feet through ancient halls where rooted veins of mithril true like banners hung will line the walls. Below the mountains 3 and tall lie pillared halls that stand apart. I've ne'er beheld my cause a doom, but know the road I'll take by heart.
Oh, we need to dump some stuff off. Why are there so many orcs? Goodness gracious. Is that wolves now? Oh, let's see. This way? This way. Tell you what, y'all. Work is not fun. I was lied to by society. Society makes you think, oh, I need to be an adult and get a job, and then I'll be, you know, happy and free, and I'll be able to do whatever I want, and all this. What they don't tell you is that when you finally get there, you're going to sit there being like, man, I miss those days when I really didn't have to worry about anything, and all I had to do was just listen to my parents. I didn't have to worry about bills or anything like that. I really don't have more granted than that. Wow. Um, but society makes us think, oh, we need to grow up. We need to grow up really fast, and we need to be, productive members of society. And which, I mean, you do, but what they leave out is that it's not fun being a productive member of society. It is weird. Some random people doing some random things in the street in front of my house on my camera. Just threw me off, distracted me. All right, back down to the mine. But anyway, adulting is a trap. And it's oddly, like, I don't really understand why. Like, I mean, paying bills is frustrating because, you work so hard for this paycheck and you just see it basically disappear before you even have a chance to do anything with it. But I wouldn't say that that's the worst part of adulthood. I think the worst part of adulthood, you have the same amount of time in the day that you did when you were a kid. In many cases, you're only working 8 to 10 hours out of the day. And when you were going to school, you were really at school 8 to 10 hours out of the day. Yet, for some reason, it always felt like you had more time. Like, I don't understand why. It feels like I had way more free time when I was a kid, to play video games and stuff like that. Even though I was going to school for most of the day, I was supposedly studying, which I was very bad at that whole studying part. But I mean, you'd be at school for most of the day. When you're at school, you can't really play video games. You can figure out ways to play video games. I did. But for whatever reason, it just felt like there was more free time at home to play video games and stuff, and really took it for granted. And it's weird, Like, sure, yeah, maybe it comes down to you just stayed up later more consistently, and the older you get, your body just can't handle a bunch of late nights like that. But like, I feel like there were very few times in high school that I stayed up like super late, and when I did, I was really freaking tired the next day. And really, honestly speaking, the days that I stayed up really late were typically days that I was working like a night shift. Because when I was in high school, I wanted to have a car, and I wanted to be able to pay for dates and games and, all that type of stuff. So I had a job for that. Maybe that's part of it too, though. Maybe when you have a job when you're in high school and you don't really have bills to pay, you're not making a lot of money because you're part-time work at, McDonald's or Taco Bell or something like that, and you're probably only taking home $200-300 a week or something like that. Um, but most of that money is, straight into your pocket. That's $200 or $300 as a high schooler that you have every week to spend. Um, so when you move out of your parents' house and you've got to start paying rent and you've got to start paying car insurance and phone bills, food, gas, you have to start worrying about all of that. It just feels like your money, even though you're making more money, goes less far than it did when you were in high school. I mean, for me in high school, I paid for my own gas, I paid for my own insurance, I paid my own phone bill, you know, mainly paid my own phone bill because I got a good deal through when I was working at Pizza Hut, and I was a shift manager.
Get ready to fight.
T-Mobile had this super good deal for managers, specifically at Pizza Hut for whatever reason. They, came in and were like, "Hey, did you know that we have a deal? If you're a manager, you can take advantage of this deal." And I was like, "No, I didn't know that at all. That's pretty cool." So because of that, I was paying my own phone bill. Hey, we got some ironwood. That's cool. Where did one of them drop that, or did something we break drop it? I think one of them dropped it. Oh, it's already over? Oh. How much ironwood did we get? What? Y'all saw that, right? It told us we picked up ironwood. Or, oh, no, it was the Shenanaguy ingot. That's what unlocked some things. Okay. The ironwood I saw was the ironwood pickaxe. Because we picked up the Shenanaguy ingot. Okay. Well, I was super excited for a second there, but that's fine. We'll get ironwood soon enough. It's just interesting. Like, if I would have been streaming when I was in middle school, high school, like, I would have had so much more energy for it. And, that's around that time is when streaming was really starting to take off. So, maybe I would have been one of the OG streamers or something like that. But, when you're a kid, you just don't typically think about things like that, I guess. It's also, I mean, the amount of, like, money and work that goes into it, is, I mean, it's not cheap to stream. You can do it on a budget, for sure. But depending on what you're doing, what you're trying to do, you have a sustained cost of buying games. And I guess technically you could consider your time a sustained cost because the time that you're streaming is time you could be, getting in overtime at work or whatever. I'm not saying that's how you should look at it. I'm just saying, it could be. And then the gear costs some money. You have to have a decent computer for streaming, which is different depending on how you're doing your streaming. So if you are, say, playing the games on a console and you're streaming, then the computer that you have doesn't need to be anywhere near as beefy as the computer if you're playing the game and streaming from the same system. especially because graphics cards are expensive. And you want to have enough resources to run the game while also having enough resources to handle the stream. So, it's it costs a little bit. And then the gear, the microphone, webcam if you need a webcam. Granted, you can use your cell phone as a webcam if you wanted to do that. Um, I would say monitor is kind of important. Not like super important, not as important as a lot of the other stuff for streaming, but having a good monitor is very helpful. Having two is awesome because it's great to be able to have your chat and your recording software, your streaming software, and everything up at the same time that you're gaming, and you can just kind of glance over to your second monitor and be like, oh shoot, I forgot to unmute myself, and whatever. Microphones, honestly speaking, and this might be a bit of a hot take for streaming gear, but if I'm being honest, you can make a very cheap microphone sound really good. Mine, I have not really dialed in too much right now. It's mainly just filtering out some background noise. That's all I really did with it. But the microphone that I'm using right now is a $100 microphone. And honestly, this microphone is sweet. I love this microphone. But I mean, you can get a $20-$30 microphone, even a USB microphone, and you can get that to sound pretty darn good, honestly. And you don't necessarily need the whole streaming setup with like your stream deck and your mixing console and all of that. I would recommend a mixing console simply because if you're streaming, especially, being able to easily adjust the volume of things on the fly live is horribly underrated. Like my setup right now, I'm using the Beacon mix mixer and the Beacon Create. So two separate things. The Create is just basically a volume knob with a USB port and an XLR jack, so you can connect an XLR microphone to your computer, and then it has some really cool software stuff that comes with it. The Beacon Mix is just a basically display with a few knobs. The knobs, you can assign volume of different things to the knobs. So for example, I've got one knob assigned to games, and that adjusts the volume of just the games. So right here, I can turn the game down completely. I can make it really quiet just by adjusting the knob on the fly, but my microphone volume doesn't adjust at all. Granted, the microphone's an input, so it's a little bit different. But say I had music playing at the same time. Let's see. This is a good time to do this because, I mean, no one's actively watching right now. So I'm not going to be annoying anybody, and anybody that watches this video afterwards can just skip a little bit to get back to the gameplay. But let's just do this real quick. I think let's go with this because I know these guys allow it. And I have to make sure that I'm set up for uh, being able to do this that I'm trying to do. You'll see what I'm doing in a second. Um, volume mixer. So what a mixer does? Let me. I wonder if I can change the window that I'm capturing to be window. Maybe I can add a source. Let's do that. And I'll have to move it around because I'm on an ultra wide monitor. Actually, let's do like a picture in picture. Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. I'm gonna geek out over that for a second here. I can do a picture in picture on the stream. Oh, that is awesome. Okay, so um, what a mixer does is this section right here. Actually, let's pull up sound settings. So sound settings, when you pull it up, oh, I just knocked my water bottle onto my food and put a bunch of sour cream on my water bottle. Give me just a second to clean this up. Uh, wouldn't it be funny if this entire time I was muted? I bring that up a lot because uh, when I was recording videos, that actually happened somewhat frequently. I'd be like doing I would be recording the Legend of Heroes games. And if you've ever seen the Legend of Heroes games, if you've ever seen myself or someone else playing them, or you've played them yourself, you know that there's a lot of unvoiced dialogue in those games. So, for a lot of the gameplay, you're like kind of trying to do, if you're streaming it, you're kind of trying to do this makeshift voice acting to keep people engaged because it's boring if you're just clicking through words on a screen. So I'd record like a whole hour and then realize my mic was muted for that entire hour. And I'd have to go back and I'd have to start, reset the save and redo all of that dialogue. So it's always a fear of mine for streaming is getting halfway through the stream and being like, "Oh no, my mic was muted this whole time." Um, but anyway, back to this. So, uh, can I can I zoom? Can I zoom this? I am sure there is a way to zoom, but I'm not sure how to do that. So anyway, as you see here, I have a lot of audio devices. Um, a lot of these are from the mixer. So the Beacon Studio, you can see that here. It's got Aux 1 Studio. We've got Beacon Studio headphones. We got Line Out. We've got Chat. These are the ones that are really important. So we got Chat. We got Music, System, Game, and Browser, and some other outputs. So what this does is it lets us assign specific apps to specific output channels and control each of these channels individually. So, let's go back to our volume mixer. So, Moria, for example, my game output is set to default because not all games like their audio being changed to a different output. So it's just easier for it to default to game. So Moria's on the default. And LED keepers on the default. Steam is on system. So notifications that I get on Steam come across on my system output, which is muted for stream. So you guys don't hear the little ding notifications and whatnot. Now, Spotify. I just opened Spotify, which for whatever reason is not showing. There we go. I don't know if that's playing for you guys. It is. Okay. So, let me adjust this a little bit. I have, right now I have Spotify playing through system. But if I wanted to, I could come over here and I could say, you know what? I don't like that. Put it on music. Woo! And blow everybody's eardrums out. Sorry about that. And then I can adjust, as you see, the volume of the music. The cool thing with that, why I recommend getting a mixer, is because we can then go back into game. And let's turn the game up. And look at that. We've got some, it's going to be weird having multiple audio music tracks happening at the same time. So look at that. We're playing Moria. You can hear the game, but you can also hear some music in the background. It's pretty cool. And you can adjust it on the fly. You're like, you know what? Cut the music. We wanna walk into the game and see what's going on here. You can just cut the music. You know, it's a really cool, a really cool thing to have. And if you're streaming, especially if you're doing multiple things on your stream, it is amazing to have that. You can set this up in your recording software. So your recording software has basically unlimited virtual audio inputs. So you can, what that means is you can have the specific game window operating on a separate track from whatever else is going on in your system. The problem with that, drag this over. this is going to look a little weird. The problem with that is you would have to switch over to your recording software here and manually adjust your tracks. So it would require alt tabbing out of the game. When you alt tab out of the game, you don't hear any audio from the game. You can't play the game. You don't see the game. In many cases, it will minimize the game completely instead of just game still being in the background. Most modern games will pause though. So that's a plus. This is a good song. So yeah, it's helpful because now all I have is the audience mix here. This particular mixer that I'm using from Beacon, there are 2 output tracks. What an output track is, if you don't know, is all of these audio sources. Oops, all of these audio sources export to a single track, which would be like headphones, for example. That should be a compilation, collection, whatever, of all of my mix tracks into a single track, so then I can adjust the volume of what my headphones are, which doesn't work because my headphones are actually playing through this. I have a DAC for my headset, so they play through that. But the cool thing with this mixer, I don't know if it shows it on here. It does not. But the cool thing with this mixer is I can control my audio separately from what you guys hear. So, I mean, you're probably hearing it over the headphones because that was insanely loud. But me, I just muted the music entirely for myself. But you guys can still hear the music. I can turn the music all the way up for me. You guys don't have that music playing on your end. I can't even hear myself talking right now. It's so loud. So what that allows me to do is it allows me to set the volume of things to what I personally like. And then for you guys, for the audience mix, you can hop in here and be like, hey, dude, the music is a little loud. We can't hear the game. And I can just be like, oh, my bad, fam. Let me turn that down a little bit so you can hear the game. Or, we like the volume of the music because it's a good audible level, but it's just drowning out the game. Oh, okay, easy enough. Let me just boost the game volume so that you can hear the game over the music. Or let me turn my mic volume down and make it so you guys can... No, that's master volume. Do I not have a mic volume set up? I do not have a mic volume set up. Whoops. I'm gonna have to do that at some point. But anyway, that is why I would recommend a mixer. And there are some cheap ones out there. The Beacon ecosystem is relatively expensive. The Beacon team is the same team that did the Go XLR, which was kind of the king of streaming for a while there before it stopped getting updates. But there's other ones out there that are a lot more affordable. I had one... Oh, what was it called? It was an Aver Media. I still have it lying around somewhere. Yeah, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. I think the Aver Media I spent $120 on, something like that. And it has the input for the XLR microphone. It had the master volume. It had volume control for audience versus myself. And it had, I think, 4 faders for audio channels, which the downside to that is it only had 4 audio channels, whereas the Beacon Mix, I think it technically has unlimited. I think you can create new mixes, and then you can just cycle through pages on your physical mixer. So, I mean, there's some really cool things with it. But I would highly recommend it just for the fact being able to adjust your microphone volume your game volume, and whatever other background things you have going on live is going to make your life as a streamer so much easier. Like, really, it'll be a huge difference. Oh, see, those aren't even. Why aren't those even? Whoa, it got messed up all the way over here. I didn't even notice. Oh well, I guess we just gotta deal with the uneven floor. That's fine. Yeah, highly recommended. Your microphone really can be cheap. Eventually, I would say get a really good quality microphone. If you have the budget for it, 100% get a very good quality microphone. But it's not necessary when you're starting out. You can make a cheap microphone sound pretty darn good. You're never going to get it to sound as good as a $300 microphone if you have a $50 microphone, but you can get it to sound pretty darn close. To the point that most people probably aren't even going to notice if you have, you know, game volume and stuff like that going on in the background too. It's one of the things I think a lot of new creators probably waste their money on. Like, if you have a messy bedroom, for example, and you're just now starting streaming, maybe it would be better for you to invest in a $50 to $100 green screen or blue screen to put behind you while you're streaming, than it would be to spend $200 on a microphone. Because then you can have your webcam and the green screen behind you will filter out. It'll do like what my webcam does through software, because admittedly my room is a little bit of a mess right now. Let me turn it on, give you a visual. Webcam, you gonna work? Webcam, you gonna work? Hello? Webcam? Maybe I have to open the software for the webcam for it to start working. It was unplugged, so it might just not really want to work right now. There we go. There we go. Webcam. Okay. Why are we not seeing any thing in the stream though? Probably gonna have to play with that a little bit. Don't want it to pick up a microphone. Okay, so maybe we just close that now and then open this. Insta360 link. Yeah, I have a Insta360. I got it a while ago. I love the Insta360. It's a really good webcam. Huh. Well, I'm gonna have to sort that out eventually. But basically, it'll cut around. You can set it up with a green screen to cut anything but your physical self out of the background. Basically, give you a transparent background, if you will. And it'll look a lot cleaner than mine does by doing it with software. So for some people, that would be a much better investment starting off than a high quality microphone. You can just learn how to tweak a few settings, and you can get the microphone sounding really good. You don't need to be an audio engineer. There's plenty of resources out there, YouTube videos and different things that you can watch that tell you exactly how to do it. So yeah, that's basically, I would say, a lot of people waste money on that. A high quality microphone is not a waste of money. I shouldn't say that. Starting out, it could be a poor investment within your budget. It's like if you're building a computer, and you have a, let me think here of a good example for this. You're building a computer. There's a $150 case that looks amazing. You absolutely love it. And there's a $50 case that does everything that case does. It just doesn't really look as nice. Would you spend the $150 for the nicer case? Or would you get the cheaper case for now, save that $100, or put that $100 to a better graphics card that'll get you like 1 or 2 tiers better than you would have been before, and your games themselves are going to look a lot better and run a lot better, but visually your computer's not going to look quite as nice. You can always upgrade the case later. It's kind of the same concept. It's not that a nice case doesn't have benefits. It's just that maybe it's not what your priority should be right off the bat. Sorry, I chugged some water there. The smoke is making my throat feel so dry. I'm kind of digging having the Trails music in the background, though. Falcom has specifically stated that they do not mind you using their
Quiet. I see prey ahead.
arranged music from the games in the background of other videos. Like if you're a streamer or whatever, it's cool. There are some music that you'll still potentially get copyright hit for, and YouTube can still flag it for copyright, but YouTube flagging something as copyright versus a copyright strike are two completely different things. You can pretty easily dispute it and send YouTube like a screenshot of, oh, I didn't dump my inventory. You can send YouTube like a screenshot of Falcom's statement and be like, look, the music I'm playing is perfectly fine, and then YouTube will be like, yep, that checks out, cool, sorry about that, and they'll remove the copyright flag. A copyright strike is an actual, like, you definitely violated copyright laws, and you have a strike, a nick, a report, however you want to word it, saying that you violated a copyright law. Just little things, I guess. We need to go back to the Elven Quarter. But the regular music, they've said is fine to play in the background. And I love Falcom's music. Granted, I also really like Moria's music, but I kind of just am vibing with the Trails music in the background. Dumping inventory, that's what we're doing. Oh man. If you couldn't tell, I am quite tired. My brain is just not functioning at full capacity, you could say. Oops. Whoops. I am so poorly organized in my inventory right now. I bet you I could free up quite a few slots by just making sure things are stacked with each other. Alright, back down to the mines to get some, never mind. Let's take a nap. We'll wake up a little early, but it'll be fine.
Eyes up! Monsters in the air!
I really don't remember what chitin is used for. I cannot think of a single time I have actually used it. And I pretty much always have a bunch of it in chests. I really cannot for the life of me remember what it's used for. I'm sure I could really easily look it up in the menu. But that's too much work. There's a little bit of granite there. I really would like a solid granite vein or whatever. It's like less ore and more granite. Like that, but maybe not where I'm gonna get shadow cursed. We'll try it. This base is gonna look epic when we're done, though. It is 100% worth it. We don't particularly need more salt right now, but I do. Salt is one of those things that you run out of it very quickly.
The silver load will mark my stride.
So you should kind of always have
Below
it.
the mountains free and tall lie pillared halls that stand apart.
Am I
I
not
ne'er
able to find
beheld
this
my
stuff?
cause a doom, but know the rose I'll take by heart.
Oh, I love that song!
For whatever, targeting this granite right here is really quite difficult. What the heck? Well, I think we can target the granite that's right there. That's a little depressing. That bit right there is very much in the middle of the shadow. Ah. I love this song. It's such a good song. I really nerd out over Trails music. A horde already. You're gonna see that when we start streaming the Trails games, which might be tomorrow, definitely Friday. I might start streaming it tomorrow, but we'll definitely be streaming Cold Steel 3 on Friday. I'm thinking, I'm not really sure how to do this, but maybe we do like Moria on Monday, because then we could call it Moria Monday. And then maybe we just do casual gaming on Wednesday. That'll just be like, if there's just a game that I just kind of feel like playing, that'll be our casual. Or, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. Maybe Wednesday. Yeah, I think Wednesday we'll do as a casual. It might be Moria. it might be another game. And then Trails we'll do on Fridays. Potentially on other days of the week too, depending. So basically what I'm thinking is we do Moria on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday would be just casual, just whatever I feel like playing, whether it be Moria, Trails, or a different game entirely. Tuesdays and Thursdays are not guaranteed that I'll stream on those days, just because doing it every day of the week could really easily burn me out between work and everything else. And sometimes when I get home from work, I really need a day to like lay on the bed, kick back, and just watch some anime or something. So I'll leave Tuesdays and Thursdays open for potentially doing that. But if I feel like playing a game, I'll hop on and we'll stream it. It's just not guaranteed that I'll be streaming on those days. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday, those are pretty much guaranteed. I may skip one here or there depending on, life. I can't, unfortunately, streaming is not my full-time job, so there might be times where streaming just isn't in the cards for what our regular scheduled time would be. I don't really foresee that really being a thing, and I definitely don't foresee that happening very often. But it, life happens. But yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Kind of break it up a little bit, have some variety. Trails and Moria will certainly be the primary focuses. I'm really enjoying this Moria base building, and just kind of running around on this game. Once we finish Moria, maybe we'll switch over to Minecraft and do occasional gaming on Minecraft. I've been trying to put together mod lists and stuff for my personal use and use with family. So I might do one of those lists, just kind of more better optimized. It's a little glitchy, especially in single player, the last couple mod lists I've made. Probably because I've put so many mods. There's like 400 mods or something like that in it. There's a lot. But I think that's what we'll probably do. We'll focus on Trails, Moria. Once we wrap Moria up, we'll switch to another survival game, whether that be Minecraft or something else. Probably going to be playing a little bit of Space Engineers here and there. Might do that for some casual gameplays too, because sometimes I like to just go into Space Engineers into the creative mode and just build some things. Minecraft I tend to play more survival than creative. And Space Engineers really depends. To be fair, Space Engineers 2, I did rather enjoy the survival on that. Space Engineers 1, I enjoy with mods. That adds some more content, some more variety to things. But yeah, well, we might play those every now and then. at some point, I don't know. I've never really been much of a multiplayer person. I've tried streaming like PUBG and Fortnite and stuff like that before, and I really couldn't get into it. So I don't know. We might try it again. We might do it every now and then, but that's probably not going to be a primary feature. At least not right now. Yeah. I think it'll be great. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll have some variety. We'll have a couple series going. We'll see how this works out with trails. And, you know, maybe worst case, I just have to go back to long form videos for the trails playthroughs. But I don't know. I think streaming them could be kind of fun. I'd mentioned it before, but mainly I think it would be cool because once we have more people in streams, we'll be able to have like actual conversations about the lore and music and characters and stuff like that, rather than me just kind of babbling at you. So I think that'll be pretty cool. I also think it is 8:30, and we are probably going to wrap this stream up. Not probably. We are going to wrap this stream up. Because, unfortunately, I have to go to bed so that I can, you know, not be a complete zombie at work and have terrible work ethic or whatever. So, yeah. We'll wrap it up here. The base is kind of coming along. We've got the floor going in. We're going to have to get more granite. Probably at least as much as we've already gathered to wrap the rest of this up. Most likely more. So next time we'll probably be spending a lot of time doing that. Maybe tomorrow. Could be trails tomorrow, could be this tomorrow. Maybe I won't be streaming tomorrow at all, depending on how the day at work goes, and it'll just be trails on Friday. So, you know, stay tuned for a possible stream tomorrow. Definitely stay tuned for a stream on Friday. Yeah. And then once we get this floor finished, I'm jumping all over the place. You can tell how tired I am by how much I'm bouncing around and what I'm talking about. Once we get this floor finished, I think we are going to focus on progressing to the next area so that we can get enough adamant to do our walls. Once we have that done, we can focus inwards on decoration and stuff like that. And yeah, by that point, we'll probably be getting pretty close to the end game of Moria. And then we'll kind of focus on that and upgrading our gear and everything. That the last couple areas of Moria do take a little bit of time to get through, so we'll be doing a lot of exploring, a lot of mining, a lot of fighting things when we get there. So yeah, I think it'll be cool. We're gonna have a really awesome looking base that I'll be pretty happy with, and I think you guys will like it. I haven't seen anybody else build like this. I've seen some Return to Moria streams. I obviously haven't seen all of them, but I have not seen anybody else build a suspended base like this. So I feel kind of proud of it, honestly. Mechanically, it works really well, and it keeps your stuff safe during raids. Granted, you could still get like flying monsters and stuff like that coming in and attacking. But this area specifically is absolutely amazing because the enemies can never get high enough to attack your floor. And you have enough supports and everything to be able to do a massive floor space. And I do not know anywhere else in this game where if you build on the ground, that you would be able to have this much space. This much just free, open, flat space for your building. It's so nice. Down there is reasonably good, but I mean, you have to deal with the statue, some greebling and stuff on the floor that you can't really get rid of, and it's just, I think it looks nicer when you build it up like this. And I have seen some people build it in front of the drain pumps there on the water. I've done that before, but the problem with that is things can attack your base, and if they destroy your floor, all of your items drop into the water and you can't get them back, and that just sucks. This, at the very least, if somehow the floor does manage to get destroyed, your items just fall down to the ground below and you can just go and pick it up and bring it all back up here. So pros and cons. But anyway, yeah, I think we are going to end right there. We've got a good game plan for the next time we play Moria. And I will see you guys when I see you guys. Maybe tomorrow, most definitely Friday. So until then, I will see you all then. Goodbye for now.